Good evening, people. How are you doing? We got something special going on that's going to happen this evening. We're going to start out with a recording from a childhood friend of ours, and
Gotta
his
find
view
it though. Yeah.
and his viewpoint on what's going on out there in this election and how he thinks about the candidates that are running for re-election. Well, are running. Well, yeah, actually,
We go
re-election because
on Monday. We'll be coming out with a few comments concerning this thing going on in Chicago, the Democratic funeral today. It's Biden going to be praised like he done died already. Well, maybe, but it's a funeral, praising. And how can you have a funeral and you ain't even dead yet? But that's what the Democrats do. Hey, comments welcome. Talk to you later. Here we go. Day one. Wow. Wow. I had to go live. I've been talking about this for a few days. He finally stepped down. Now where does the Democrats go? I keep trying to tell them nobody supports the vice president to become a president. And God knows, I don't know what's going to happen with their nominee, but at least Biden took the high road and got out of the way. Comments welcome. I told you guys this all the time. Biden has to go. No money left for him. And I hope he gets well soon. But anyway, hey, a little feedback. What is it? Yeah.
Yep.
we go ahead, man. Most of you folks in the audience didn't hear everything that he was trying to say about the election, but it looks like he is giving Sister Harris a hard way to go. Said she haven't done anything in 3.5 years, and why should we trust her to be elected president? Wow. Mm. And my co-host here, Ted, asked me what I thought about that. And after he told me who it was, and I'm not going to put any names and stuff out there, but I don't know if I was surprised or just confused myself. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe our childhood classmate and everything is telling the truth. I don't know. I can't believe that he thought that they haven't done anything this year. I'm I know that at some point in time in the last 2 years that he has traveled over some of the highway or roadways or bridges that this president and vice president voted for us to have. I know he has. Nice, smooth highway. I just came from Branson, Missouri, and I was traveling north and went to St. Louis and went to Indianapolis and came from Indianapolis down to Atlanta. And I'm telling you, man, I saw some of those projects that were going on and that are still going on. And man, they have improved our highway system. I mean, some of that highway, man, was just beautiful, Ted, traveling down, especially at night, man. I'm looking down the highway and they had just finished this thing, man, nice, black, tire and everything that we were riding on, nice and smooth. My car didn't hit a bump or anything. It was just nice, smooth way ride. Illinois, I look at it. It's unbelievable, man. Usually Illinois has the worst roads in the country, but I travel Interstate 70 all the way from St. Louis to cross the border into Indiana. And Illinois has some, man, I couldn't believe that highway, Interstate 70. It was just beautiful all the way through the thing. Now, when I got to Indiana, the road got a little bad there. And Indiana got them a Republican governor. And used to be when in the 90s and the early 2000s when I was traveling from Chicago down to Atlanta and hit 65 in Indiana, the roads were real good until about 20 years ago. And then all of a sudden, you can reach a rough patch of road, and the Republicans said, well, we can't fix this. So they put a sign up, rough road ahead. Instead of fixing the highway, they put a sign up, rough road ahead. Tear up my car. Bam, 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 boom, boom, bam, 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 bam. But it doesn't make any sense. The transportation secretary used to be the mayor of South Bend, Indiana.
Yep.
Wouldn't you think that the transportation secretary would make sure that his old state that he used to reside in and he was the mayor of would make sure that his state got that money, that $1.8 trillion to fix some of their highways?
Did the governor accept it?
I don't know what's going on, man. They don't have something.
You know, you
Real
got
nutballs.
governors, man.
The ex-vice president used to be the governor of Indiana.
The governor the governor here in Florida, and Scott, who used to be the governor, and Bush, who used to be the governor. You remember Obama had the funds to go to build a rail from Tampa to Orlando. He rejected it.
And they refused that money. $4 billion, which would have been.
So these governors, they can turn down that money. A lot of governors, Republican governors, turn down Medicaid money to help the people.
Mm-hmm.
So these people, a lot of people just don't understand that tax dollars are for you so that you can have a better living condition.
So the people in that state can have a better living condition.
Yes.
And why can this guy, who I know been knowing for a long, long time, would say she hasn't done anything? That's my dilemma here. What?
Well, we had a person and who responded to his comments and told him that you're listening to too much Fox and Max News.
I don't even know if that's it. I don't even know if that's it, Ted, because man, I have no idea, and it surprised me. And I actually had to go to play that for our audience and stuff, so they can listen to some of what some of the people are saying. So, and I'm going to get back to several points that I made during our previous shows, that we can't take all this stuff for granted that's going on, because there are people and stuff out there that we thought we knew are gung ho for DT. I would have never thought that he would felt that way.
Yeah.
How?
There are people out there that we know for whatever reason, and I think the thing that I think that people sort of kind of got a misnomer. They think that Donald Trump is an alpha male, he's a macho, and he ain't taking nothing from nobody. They are gravely deceived. I wanted to talk about this because I'm trying to figure out, and I was going to look it up, but I don't have to look it up because what has he done for the American people? Can you name one policy? You know politics. Can you name one policy that he's done? You know the tax cuts that he did. You know who had them tax cuts on his desk for years? Mitch McConnell. He got that from Mitch McConnell. Those tax cuts. He didn't come up with it. I'm trying to figure out what has he done for the American people. Can you name a policy?
Well, if you listen to him, Ted, he says that he was the one that reduced the prescription cost for insulin. He got on the stage and he opened his mouth and he said that. Now, anybody who has been on this earth for the last 3 years know that Donald didn't do that. It was an outright lie.
Do you
But
know
he
who did
said
it?
he did it.
Do you know who did it?
Yeah,
Who?
Joe.
No, Joe Biden signed it. You know who set the bill for it? It was
Probably
your senator,
uh,
Warnock.
Warnock and somebody else. He had a Republican that come in there with him
Yes.
now to help
Yes.
him. I forgot who it was. To lower prescription drug for insulin. But he had the audacity to get on there and say it. And then oh man. But did I hear his words right, Ted? She's been in there for 3.5 years and hasn't done nothing. Isn't that what he said? Isn't that what he said? She hasn't done nothing.
Yeah, he said that she hasn't done nothing.
She hasn't
and you
done
know,
nothing.
the vice president does what the president requests of them.
Absolutely.
And he gave her about 5 different chores. And she took care of all of those things. Plus, she passed a lot of tie-breaking votes.
A lot of tie-breaking votes to pass laws and to get them out of the Senate.
Yeah.
She did do that. And I'm hearing this. They got a commercial on, Ted. And Donald sitting in front of it. I approve this commercial. And after he gets off, they have Sister Girl, she doing a dance. And they're saying, this is our border czar. And they're making her look like she's sitting down there dancing and not doing her job to take care of the border. But we have to remember exactly what Biden told her to do. He told her to go down into those countries and stuff and everything in Central America or whatever and talk to them about stopping their people from coming up and crossing the border. He didn't put her in charge of what goes on at the border. He put her in charge of what's going to happen before the people get to the border, to try to talk to those countries and stuff, the presidents and all that, to try to stop them, to holding them up. And in Mexico, the president and everything did stop a lot of his folks and stuff from coming through to their country. He slowed them down, but it didn't stop them, because these people are desperate. They're gonna come across their border. I don't care what anybody does. They're coming across their border because this is a life and death situation for them. And when you get somebody back into the corner and it's life and death, they're coming out of that corner. I don't care what you say. So whatever we do to stop them from coming across there and everything, whatever we've been doing is not enough. Those people are desperate and they're coming across those borders, because anybody with any kind of sense, Ted, would not traverse 1,500 miles to get across a border to make $8 or $9 an hour picking vegetables. They got to be desperate. $8 or $9 an hour to pick vegetables. Because that's what most of them are doing. They're coming across their border and they're staying over there in our breadbasket in California. And they're coming here to other parts of the country, and they're climbing up on our roofs. They're building our homes and making these folks rich, because they're not paying them anything at all for their labor. So, in essence, and I shouldn't be saying this, but there are new slaves are coming across the border, and they're coming across their border willingly across it. They're not being dragged across in chains under the belly of the ships. They're coming across there willingly to be the slaves. Sorry, my brown brothers and sisters, but that's the truth. That's what's going on. So, anyway, Ted, man, this is horrible. What's next? You've been watching the DNC?
Oh yeah,
What's going
every
on?
minute
I
of it.
haven't saw it. I didn't see it yesterday. I've been traveling. I've been on the road.
I know. It was good, man. It was really good.
How was Biden's speech?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people said that it was an excellent speech, and I'm gonna be honest. To me, he was doing it in such a way. He was doing a list of all the things that he had accomplished himself. Him and Harris,
Mhm.
the vice president, and the way he was doing it, he did it in almost like an angry kind of way, you know. And he was listing all those things, and I know the reason why he did it. You know, when he was just running off of all the things that they had accomplished. However, I fell asleep. The other speakers, man, you know, President Biden is not that exciting of a speaker. And, you know, he's more of a conversationalist. Well, he wasn't doing a conversation because he don't have, you know, that kind of capacity anymore. And he tells the same stories over and over anyway. So, and they was giving him his flowers and giving him his respect, and rightfully so. And he accomplished a lot. You know, he accomplished a lot. You know, getting the lead pipes out and all of that, and infrastructure, and you know, helping these people with student loans. You know, so he's accomplished a lot. You know, cutting back on the gun violence. You know, had that gun violence law. Um, However, here's the thing that I think that we as a, and I'm just speaking for Black people in my personal opinion, we are a race of people. You know, we went through all of these different kinds of descriptions of who we are: colored, Negro, Black, African American. However, because we have never gotten a solid identity and citizenships, you know, because when it all breaks down, white folks ain't white, they Irish. They have their own coalition. They have their own, uh, you know, what they call is the term, you know, they connectability. Well, Black Americans, what we call foundational Black Americans, who actually came and was enslaved, we are the original Black Americans. Now, there are other Black Americans that came here who are Haitians, Caribbeans, and so forth. But because we are not a solid race, like Vietnamese, Vietnam people, Vietnamese people, Chinese people, Japanese people, Mexican people, El Salvadorian people, Guatemalan people, Brazilian people. So we're like a hogwash that we haven't really, because we have integrated with all kinds of nationalities now. We're not a solid race now. We have, you know, we have heritage that's, you know, our great great grandmother and fathers might have been enslaved and what have you, but you might be married to a Jamaican person where their parents was a different situation. Maybe they was enslaved too, but they was in the Caribbeans. So this is the issue right now with us, because we have not really, we can't assimilate. You know, other nationalities, they can gather together. That's why you have your Italian communities, your German communities. So, and then within our community, we have different classes of people. And I'm talking about the people that were enslaved. We have the Boule people, who are what we classify as, you know, the ones that got the upper hand. And a lot of those Boule people were mulattoes, because when they were enslaved, their father was white. So that was his son or his daughter. So what they did was, that's how, the reason why they started all those Black colleges. They didn't want to send them to the best colleges like Yale and Harvard and all that. So it's so convoluted. We're not a race. We're a Black race, of course, but we're so mixed in to all the other different ethnic groups. So now we are sort of kind of like almost a non-existence. We're becoming no matter, because we see Latinos, they can come together, because what do they come together with? Because they came from another country, but they all have the same. Some of them have the same languages. A lot of them, Spanish. The Haitians, the Caribbean people. So the thing is, what are we? What are we? How do we unify? We can't start a community of our own, because there's so many people right now that have integrated into our community. They might be 2, maybe 3 generations into our community, but they're actually from Africa or Jamaican, Caribbean islands, or Haitians. And they relish on their own nationality. Because the first thing they'll tell us, boy, y'all ain't from nowhere. Where you from? We don't know. Where did we come from? I don't know what country, what continent my people came from in Africa. You know what I'm saying? If I do a DNA test, if I do a test, it'll say that I'm 50% this and 20% that and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, the point I'm trying to make is that political power is important, and if you look at the Democratic Party, what are their sectors are? Their sectors are unions. What else? We're supposed to be the 10th. LGBTQ, Black people, Latino people. So, but like I said, you got a bunch of people that's Black, but they are from another country. They just been here for a couple of generations.
So you are kind of giving a small credence to Donald's definition of who Harris was during the Black media interview he did, because he said
Well,
he
when you
doesn't
think
know who
about
she
it,
is.
think about this. If your ancestors, great grandfather, grandmother was enslaved,
Mm-hmm.
that makes what we call a fundamental Black American,
Mm-hmm.
a foundational Black American.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad came from the Caribbean islands,
Mm-hmm. He was enslaved too now.
but
They
not
were
in
slaves
America.
too. They were
Not in
slaves too.
America.
Not in America, but he was still a slave.
But now that's a big difference. Not in America.
Not in America,
So,
right? But he was an enslaved person, because when the white folks brought those people across the ocean and everything, they dropped a few off there in those Caribbean countries and they made them slaves. And they brought the rest of them here to the United States. So anyway,
I'm not disagreeing with
I have to agree with you. We are a mixed race. All of us. We have something other than Black in our blood. And it's noticeable in everything when you look at some of our offspring's eyes and stuff, and somebody got green eyes, and they got all other features and stuff and everything that are not Black. So we've been mixed up, and it's something that we couldn't help, because just like you said, the slave master and stuff, when he got ready, he grabbed him a slave woman and everything and made him a baby, and they come out half Black, half white, or whatever, or they came out white with straight hair, and that's what happened, and nobody could stop him from doing that.
Now, the reason why I brought all that up is this: is it's not so much as that it's the thing is that now people are trying to identify themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I do agree is that if you are a foundational Black person, you can go back. I know I can go back 4 generations, probably further than that. So if you can go back to those generations and look and say, okay, well, my great grandmother and father was enslaved. This is all about what happened to this country and what they did for this country, what our grandparents and great grandparents did for this country. Some of these people just got on the boat 3 or 4 decades ago. They didn't go through what our great grandparents went through and what our grandparents went through and our parents went through, bringing this country to where it is now. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But now you do have people that came from the islands and from other areas that fought with people in the 50s and the 40s. But in the 1800s and the early 1900s, that's why you had all of these riots and towns were being burnt down all over the country. So now here we are. We're looking at a potential person just like President Obama. Let's face it, he's not a fundamental black person. He's not a
He's not.
foundational
He
black
has
person.
a white mother, and
Right.
I mean a first generation white mother.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then his dad was a
African
Kenyan.
Kenyan.
So, but he's classified as a
It's
black
black.
person,
Absolutely.
just like Vice President Harris,
Right.
classified as a black person.
Absolutely.
So the bottom line is, what I'm saying is that we are getting caught up in all of these nuances because we want to be a part of something as a group, a collective, just like the Irish, just like the Italians, just like the Haitians, just like the Caribbean islands, Jamaican people and stuff, just like Polish, Turk, all of those types of people, Greeks, you know. So the point is that we know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that we can never collectively come together because within our group, we have such a class system. Just like the Indians, in India, they have a class system. So the point is that I think that what it used to be that religion brought us together as a people, that don't bring us together anymore. Politics right now is so divided. So now, the thing is that you have to have, the thing is that what we have to believe in is what the country is trying to do to make everything fair, to make everything doing the right things for everyone, everybody. And I think that's the sell point. And I think that's what the vice president has got to do. How does she unify all of these different ethnic groups? Because the Democratic Party is a tent party, all kinds of people to satisfy. Now you're dealing with Palestinians. They 30,000 strong, 20,000 strong out there in Chicago protesting. That's another group. How many millions are there of Palestinians that's in this country? We don't even know. Maybe 2 million.
Or they are sympathetic with the Palestinian or what's going on with the Palestinians.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them are sympathizers who are out there marching are sympathizers
Yeah.
with
Who wants to see
Palestinians.
genocide of children?
Yeah. But so what you're saying is that Biden started this whole thing out. He was on the first day. Harris is going to be the last speaker in the DNC.
And tonight
And
is
she
President Obama and Michelle Obama.
absolutely they're building this thing up to a crescendo. Supposedly, Obama's speech or whatever is going to lay the foundation and everything for her nomination as the first black woman, and with him being the first black male as president. So what we're looking at and stuff is that she has to one hell of a daggone speech and stuff come Thursday night. She has to have a hell of a she has to have a hell of a speech on Thursday.
She
She
can't
has
be
to have,
talking about
and
no little simple stuff.
I don't know who's helping her to write her speech, but she's going to have a hell of a speech and everything to bring all that stuff together.
Yeah, I don't know how she's gonna do it. To be honest with you,
I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. She's going to have one hell of a speech come Thursday. What is it, Thursday or Friday? Thursday night. You got to have
and
a hell
she's
of a
gonna have
speech.
to have some. She's gonna have some four. She gotta have some 4-syllable words that she's deep, and some simple words that she's simple. You know, where people can understand her, and then also the intellectual people, the you know, the most intelligent people. There's a lot of highly intelligent people going to be listening to her, and a lot of people that's going to be not simple minded, but you know, the average Joe going to have
Mhm.
to understand that, and she's going to have to talk to them as well. So I don't know how she's going to
She's going
bring
to
it.
have to have a Barack Obama speech.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
She
She's
got
going
to
to have to have
have
a
a
speech.
Barack Obama type speech. And if
Yeah,
she
she got
doesn't
to have
have that, if she doesn't have that, and that unity is not in her speech and everything, it's going to send this daggone DNC convention and stuff off either on a kind of a plateau trajectory, or she can send that thing off and everything and shooting for that daggone sky, knowing that she's going to take this thing and stuff and everything and bring it under her arm and stuff and everything, and it'll be her campaign to lose.
I agree. I totally agree because her speech is going to, I mean, that's going to be the whole thing in a nutshell. I mean, we know that President Obama knows how to speak to people
He knows how to
intellectually,
get
bring it down to earth, all of that, and bring
and
people in.
and it can be a mediocre speech and stuff and everything, and because it's the DNC, they're going to be shouting and hollering and screaming and everything, but there's an audience outside of the United Center that she has to speak to, not just the people in there, and she has to excite those folks and stuff on the outside of that building, because the ones on the inside ain't going to get her elected. It's the people that's on the outside of that building who's going to get her elected.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it's going to be tough, bro, because we
It's
live in such a, you know, and I'm going to put it like this: the working class, blue collar male, President Biden and Vice President Harris has done a lot for the working class, but they don't appreciate it. They, you know, he saved the auto's pension. He saved that pension.
mhm. Right, Chrysler, GM, Ford,
Yes,
saved every last one of them. He saved them, pulled them out of the fire.
yeah. And when he was vice president, he went there and made a deal so they make sure that they stayed in business. But yet still, they don't appreciate it. They still, a lot of them still pulling for Trump. And Trump has done nothing. He said they did a thing on a company that had just shut down. He brought that company back up. And now these people are working. in this one little small town. Whereas when Trump was in office, they shipped the whole company to Mexico.
That sounds like that $10 billion that the state of Wisconsin gave to this semiconductor company from either Japan or Korea. They came in and they projected them to, and Trump had made backed up that $10 billion that the state wanted to give them, and they were going to create something like 10 or 15,000 jobs. And by the time that thing got settled and everything, the company left
Yeah,
them folks high and dry. And all that incentive that they gave them and everything just went out the window, and eventually they forgot all about it, and nobody said anything about it. But that's the thing that I think that Kamala is going to have to do. She's going to have to make that distinction, because I don't understand how our friends and stuff can say that they haven't done anything. And it behooves me that in her speeches and stuff so far and everything, those accomplishments and stuff and everything, a lot of times get lost in that glamour and that glow, when those things and stuff are what are the foundation and stuff that her campaign should be based upon. What they have done so far, the things, the accomplishments. And even though Biden, just like you said, talked about those accomplishments and stuff and everything, but you have to give it. The best person that I know that can be able to explain things to the common.
I know who you're gonna say.
Who?
Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
I know you're gonna say
He
Clinton.
had a knack of breaking that stuff down so that man that's sitting down there in the dirt would understand what the heck he's talking about.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, and that's what brought him back, man, that he could sit there and articulate and explain to that common person and stuff what they had going on. And nobody, I haven't seen anybody else. Now, Barack comes close, but the rest of them, Democrats and Republicans, I have not seen that happen anymore. That they can break that stuff down so the lower man can understand exactly how it is. And he brought it down to their pocketbooks and told them what that issue was doing to their pocketbook.
Well, another thing too is that the news people are not the news people of old.
Nope.
They don't report on stuff. They might do a little bit of story and on page 7 or the back pages after the sports or whatever. But they don't really go into it. And then the media itself, like television, TV, they don't go to those places and do stories on, hey, well, President Trump promised this and blah, 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 and this didn't happen. It just goes away. Don't even talk about it.
And
But they made a big deal. It was a big, big deal in Wisconsin when they got that thing and started talking and bragging
very
about
big
it.
deal. It was national news. And then all of a sudden you didn't
For
hear about it
days.
anymore. And they
For
never said a
days.
word about it. It was gone.
For days. It was for days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing, and then it just fell through. Well, it's just like the platinum for black folks. That never happened.
Mm-hmm. And I can't get over the fact here that when Donald started talking, he didn't. Whereas I know Biden did it, Obama did it. They gave money to the HBCU schools. But when Donald talks about it and stuff, he says it in a way that he gave them something that they have to pay back. It wasn't a gift to them. It was something that they had to pay back. And I believe that's what happened. He gave them a loan or he provided them with some money that the university were going to have to pay back to the federal government. And that is the gift that he is telling the HBCU folks. I provided some financing and stuff for you so you guys can be okay. But Obama gave $8 billion. But when you go back to those presidents of the HBCU schools and stuff and everything, when Trump became president and they were sitting around that table and stuff and everything, but Obama didn't give us nothing. How? I don't know, Ted. And these are presidents of these colleges and stuff, these universities, HBC universities, who were saying this stuff, sat there in that man's table and said Obama didn't give him anything, but Trump didn't give him a dime. He just provided them with some financing so they can be able to stay afloat. But they appreciate that financing, but they don't appreciate a gift.
They made it a big deal. He had them at the White House.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He brought them down there at their table and set them down. And they all sat down there and kissed his ring. like good black folks.
Obama would do things, but he would never make it a big hoopla.
Not one. And when Obama gave them that $8 billion, he didn't say anything about it. As soon as he came into office, he had the decree to come up. And within 2 months of him being in office, he gave them that $8 billion to help them to get through their schools, help the universities and stuff and everything keep afloat. And I saw some of the results and stuff of it and everything because my sons spent some time down at Fort Valley University here in Georgia, and they put up, I think, 8 new dormitories and stuff with that money that Obama had provided. Those dormitories, 8 women dormitories they built on that campus because of that money. But he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. Just like our boy said, she didn't do nothing. She been in office for 3.5 years and didn't do nothing.
Well,
so why should we trust her to be the president?
Are
they being paid, Ted? Are they being paid? You think that there might be some money coming underneath the table?
Well, these both parties, they pay these what do they call them? Influencers.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a high following on your social media, they pay these people lots of money, tens of thousands of dollars to promote them. That's part of the deal now. Just like, they put in ads. So I'm gonna give you $20,000. You have to put some, you got to say some good things about me, and we're gonna be watching, and they do it, they're doing it on TikTok all over the place. They're doing it on Facebook. They're doing it on all these different mediums. And so that's fine. We're not taking no money. Ain't nobody offered you no money, have they? They ain't offered me no money. Maybe they might try to call me.
Dime. And I wouldn't do that. My integrity, Ted, would not allow me to take their money and say something that's not true. There's very few people out there who have power and stuff on that media out there who refuses to let folks buy them to say what they want to say. Now, if somebody wanted to give us a donation or whatever to come out there, I'm going to say what that donation and stuff is. They gave it to us, but I'm not going to, if they're doing something wrong, I'm not going to say that they're doing something right if they're doing something wrong just because they gave me some money. That's the integrity that I have, that I'm hoping I have. Until I get the money, I don't know, because you don't know money don't change people.
I feel you on that.
Money don't change people now. But I'm hoping, and I can say this, and with all impunity, that I'm pretty sure that I would not do that. And if I and when they gave me the money, I'm going to say to them, "Hey, you're not going to buy me to endorse you and everything. I'm going to say that you gave me something to keep the show on, but I'm also going to tell my audience the truth and everything. And the audience out there needs to know that you're going to hear the truth from us. You're not no stuff that somebody didn't pay for." And that was the reason why I actually had he
But
gotten any money for doing what he did.
I'm gonna say something. This is the thing that I really appreciate, because I remember when we were in high school and college, we in a melting pot. And I was looking around, I said, we're not that, I mean, yeah, there was a very few Latinos in this country at the time, very few different other nationalities. It was just really black and white.
Mm-hmm.
We are really in a melting pot now, bro. A bona fide melting pot. I, I don't know how many countries, people from other countries live in this country, but it's probably from all over the nation,
All over the world.
all over the world. I'm sorry, all over the world. And we are truly in a melting pot. Now the difference is that what they, I never considered what they call white people white people. That's just my feeling. I've never, because to me, they're not white. They all have their own tribes. But what they've done is they gathered themselves and sort of kind of wink wink, because they had the same complexion and what have you. They think that whatever, they believe that whatever stigma they supposed to have, if you see a Swede and a German and a Irish person, they white. They're not Irish, they're not Swedish, but deep down inside within themselves, they know that they're different nationalities, different cultures. But who do they jack on? Black people. I was looking last night, I was looking at some of these Latino people that came up that had the Latino Spanish names.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have changed their names, you would have thought they were white.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
wouldn't even know that, they could have named them Smith,
Right.
Robinson.
Loblinski.
Yeah,
Use some skis on their name,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Polish.
You would have thought they were white. I'm serious. So the point is that they have made this thing such a, there is no such thing as a white race.
But you cannot get that point across to that population. That's just
It's
you can't.
inbred. It's
Right. You
inbred
can't
since
you
the
can't get across
1800s.
to them. And then you have folks like DT who are who are using that fear amongst that race and everything, and using that for his own benefit.
Yeah, yeah.
He's using that fear for his own benefit, and he's stoking the fires and stuff of that fear. He's
Well,
stoking the fires
I
of
am.
their racism, and not outright coming out and saying it. He's doing that, and because he's doing that, he can say anything he wants to say, and they'll believe it because they want him to be their leader. That's horrible. Ted, last word. We at the end, brother.
Well, I want to say this, that we are living in the best of times. And I'm hoping that the American people do the right thing and vote for the right person. Everybody can vote however they want to, but look at the whole picture, look at the future, That's all I gotta say. You know, we living in the best of times, because I know we've had worse, but we are really living in the best of times. And a lot of people try to make like we're living in the worst of times, but we're actually living in the best of times.
Well, I'm sitting here and I'm enjoying my show and stuff and what we're doing and stuff out here, and I'm just proud that we can keep on putting this stuff on air for people to view. If you don't come and listen to it, that's up to you. Um, I don't I I don't go to Facebook. I don't go to X or Twitter, whatever they call it. I don't do the other shows and stuff and everything. I just use YouTube and stuff as our mechanism for getting our voice and stuff out, and our voice is heard. There's a reason why I don't go to Facebook, and there's a reason why I don't go to Twitter. And those are personal reasons and stuff and everything. But I do know that there are a lot of people who do like Facebook and they do like Twitter and like all the other medias and stuff out there. I believe in creating my own stuff, just like Donald Trump. I ain't like him, but old Trump said he wanted to create his own media, and that's what he done. So anyway, please come back. Watch us, take a look at us. You got anything to say? Put some comments down there for us. Send us some emails. Come to their website. See what we got and stuff on there, because I do put some things and stuff up there about important stuff that's going on and stuff around here, things people need to see. And I will be putting things up there about the election. And I will make absolutely sure that I put episodes or little snippets of Kamala's acceptance speech and stuff on Thursday or Friday, whatever day it is. I don't know what day it is that she's giving her speech and everything, but I'm going to pull some excerpts and stuff out of there and put it up there on our website so people can see it. Those important things and stuff that's dealing with our community and our people. So, anyway, Ted, that it?
I'm done, bro.
You done, bro. Well, people, it was good being on air here again, and it's good being back here in the ATL. And I have a topic that I want to touch upon next Thursday and stuff. I'm going to talk about our Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, who is a Republican. And he has been abused and used by Donald Trump. But there's something going on and everything and stuff with him that is creating him all kinds of problems and stuff. And he's losing money like all get out because somebody decided to do something to him. And
Who's losing money?
It's already cost him $500,000.
Who?
Brad Raffensperger, Secretary of State, Georgia Secretary of State.
$500,000 for
Yeah.
what? Getting
He's being sued.
for what?
I'll tell you about it Thursday.
Okay.
He's being sued. And it's kind of crazy with what's going on. And it's not Donald who is suing him. But he's having to pay money for attorneys and stuff and everything to defend him in this lawsuit. And his bill has gotten up to almost $500,000 already. So I don't know how it's going to work out. He's been trying to get it thrown out of court, but he has not been successful so far. And the person and stuff who's doing it got a lot of money and some good lawyers. So anyway, we'll talk about that because this is going to be it's going to have a lot to do with what goes on here in November in this election here in Georgia, because the Secretary of State, he's in charge of the elections here in this state. And I don't know how mad Raffensperger is going to be and how mad Kemp is going to be or how hard they're going to work to get Trump elected, but he created some problems. So anyway, see you people later. Bye-bye.